What if the air you breathe was a lie? What if a company, one of the biggest in the world, secretly turned your family car into a poison factory and got away with it for years? This isn't a movie. This is the story of a deliberate, calculated betrayal that affected millions. The question isn't if it happened. The question is, how did they do it? To understand the crime, you have to understand the ambition. Volkswagen wanted to conquer the world. They had a singular goal, to become the #1 automaker on the planet. But there was a problem: America's famously strict emissions laws. They couldn't meet the standards. So they made a choice. Instead of innovating, they chose to cheat. It was brilliant. It was diabolical. A secret piece of code that made their cars liars. When the car detected it was on a testing machine, the engine would go into mode 1, cleaning up its act perfectly. But the second the car hit the open road, the software knew. It switched to mode 2, prioritizing performance over the planet. For 7 years, 11 million cars rolled off the line, each one a ticking time bomb for the environment. But they never counted on a small group of students and professors who decided to run one more test and accidentally stumbled upon the biggest corporate fraud in history. September 18th, 2015. The day the lie died. The world was in shock. The public felt utterly betrayed. The company's $60 billion brand value evaporated in a matter of hours. The company that represented German engineering and reliability was revealed to be nothing more than a criminal enterprise. The dominoes fell. Hard. Arrests. Raids. Managers were thrown in prison. The CEO resigned. The lie had finally run out of road. The price of the lie was staggering. Over $30 billion in fines and settlements. But you can't put a price on the air we breathe. You can't put a price on a child's health. This scandal was more than just corporate greed. It was a calculated act of environmental vandalism that poisoned our communities. And while some faced justice, the true cost was paid by all of us, with every breath we took. Dieselgate was a scar on the automotive world, but it was also a brutal wake-up call. It forced a revolution, a painful, expensive, but necessary pivot away from fossil fuels. Sometimes, the dirtiest lies can lead to the cleanest futures. The story of Dieselgate is a warning about unchecked corporate power and the lies we're told every single day. The question we have to ask is, who's lying to us now? Key figures in the Volkswagen. Dieselgate Scandal, from the boardroom to the whistleblowers. The Volkswagen Dieselgate Scandal, which erupted in 2015, involved a wide range of individuals, from top-level executives who allegedly orchestrated or turned a blind eye to the emissions cheating, to the engineers who developed the defeat device software, and the individuals who ultimately brought the deception to light. The fallout led to criminal charges, hefty fines, and significant prison sentences for several key players, the executives at the top. At the helm of the Volkswagen Group and its subsidiaries, several high-ranking executives faced intense scrutiny and legal action for their roles in the scandal. Martin Winterkorn, the former CEO of Volkswagen AG, Winterkorn resigned in the immediate aftermath of the scandal breaking in September 2015, claiming he was not aware of any wrongdoing on my part. However, he was later charged by U.S. prosecutors with conspiracy to defraud the United States and wire fraud. German prosecutors also charged him with fraud. His trial in Germany has faced delays due to his health. Rupert Stadler, the former CEO of Audi, a subsidiary of the Volkswagen Group. Stadler was arrested in June 2018 and charged with fraud and false advertising. Prosecutors accused him of knowing about the defeat devices in Audi vehicles and failing to stop their sale. In 2023, he was convicted and received a suspended prison sentence and a hefty fine after a lengthy trial in Germany. Heinz Jakob Neusser, the former head of engine development at Volkswagen, Neusser was among the executives suspended in the wake of the scandal. He was later charged by U.S. authorities for his alleged role in the conspiracy. Managers and engineers on the ground. While the executives faced the public fallout, a number of managers and engineers were directly involved in the development and implementation of the emissions cheating software. Oliver Schmidt, a former high-ranking manager in Volkswagen's environment and engineering office in the United States, Schmidt became one of the most prominent faces of the scandal to face severe legal consequences. In 2017, he was sentenced to 7 years in a U.S. federal prison and fined $400,000 after pleading guilty to conspiracy to defraud the United States and violating the Clean Air Act. He was accused of actively participating in the cover-up and misleading regulators. James Robert Liang, a Volkswagen engineer who worked on diesel engine development, Liang was one of the first individuals to be sentenced in the U.S. in connection with the scandal. He pleaded guilty in 2016 to conspiring to defraud the U.S. government and violating the Clean Air Act. He cooperated with investigators and was sentenced to 40 months in prison. The whistleblowers and researchers who exposed the scandal. The Dieselgate scandal would not have come to light without the diligent work of a small group of researchers and whistleblowers. International Council on Clean Transportation, ICCT. This independent non-profit organization played a crucial role in uncovering the emissions discrepancies. Researchers at the ICCT, including John German and Peter Mock, commissioned a study to test the real-world emissions of diesel vehicles in the United States. West Virginia University's Center for Alternative Fuels, Engines, and Emissions, CAFE. The ICCT contracted this university research center to conduct the on-road emissions testing. The team at CAFE, which included engineers Hemanth Kapana and Arvind Thiruvengadam, found that Volkswagen's diesel cars were emitting nitrogen oxides at levels far exceeding the legal limits during normal driving conditions, in stark contrast to their performance in laboratory tests. Their findings were the catalyst that led to the official investigation by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and the California Air Resources Board, CARB.